right, so we actually have another minute, so we'll give people a chance to join. Thank you for showing up. This is a big crowd. It's almost as big as last Friday's. Right, it was last Friday that we got moved. All right, so I'm hoping this is a good one. Still got another minute. Does anybody have any wins to talk about? Anybody got anything for the weekend planned?
Well, girlfriend's parents are coming into town, so
All right.
check out Pooligans.
Poogans. Yeah, Poogans pretty good.
Yeah, downtown for his birthday.
Cooking sports.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Good shrimp and grits.
Apparently it's haunted.
What's that?
Apparently it's haunted.
Why would you say that?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You gotta let us know. You're going to Select, right?
You want Select and
That's a good
Wild
place.
Olive.
And Wild Olive. Yeah, you're going to both, right? Yeah. Has anybody been to Wild Olive?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Wild Olive is my favorite restaurant in Charleston. Maybe they'll see this on YouTube and send me a gift certificate or something, right? Best restaurant in Charleston. And then the Select, I've been to twice now. Once 2 weeks after they opened, and then my daughter and I just went this past Sunday. Great food. So the Select, it's the Select, the Gray Star building downtown, Columbus and Meeting Street. Great. If you haven't been, go. I know you like good food, so check it out.
We went to Pearls on the weekend.
Mm.
Look at that.
Pros is good. All right, I'm a minute late, so let's go ahead and get started. And look, yeah, we matched last week. All right, we're at 8 people. All right. All right, so today I'm going to try to we're going to go over a tool that we reviewed yesterday at the end of the thing called the belief table. I'll explain what that is, but let's just kind of look. We remember what the success map was, right? Who can walk me through the success map? Who's seen it enough that it's stuck? Number 1 is, where are you? Number 2 is,
Where do you want to go?
where do you want to go? Number 3 is, why do you want to get there, right? And then number 4 is, how, which we rearranged to who, because if you model the behavior of people who have been successful at whatever it is you're trying to be successful at or obtain, you're going to get there faster, right? Okay. Then we went over writing your goals down, and I've been harping on this, and I'm going to continue to harp on it. This is going to be very repetitive if you haven't noticed, right? It's the same thing over and over again because the secret to success is simple. We just don't do it, right? So writing your goals down, we're going to kind of go through that in a moment. And then we went over RPM. What was RPM? Does anybody remember? What does the R stand for? Results. There we go. What does the P stand for? Purpose. And what's the M? Massive action, right? So what does that mean? Think of this, right? Imagine, and this is from Jim Collins' Good to Great, right? Imagine you have this massive flywheel, right? Let's say it weighs 50,000 pounds, right? Let's pick something ridiculous. You grab a hold of this wheel, right? This cement block, let's say it's the size of 4 of these rooms, right? And there's a handle on it, and you grab it. It's 50,000 pounds, and you're what? 100, 200, 300 pounds max, right? And you start pushing this thing. It's going to take a lot of effort. In the beginning, you're not going to be moving it, right? You're going to need help to get that wheel going. That's what RPMs are all about. How many revolutions per minute can you get it going? So this is a system to get your momentum going, right? Once you have the block moving, it gets easier, right? It's like a dog sled team. When they first start pulling that sled, it takes a lot of power. It takes a lot of force. But once they get it moving, it's about 3 to 5 pounds of force each time they take a tug forward, right? Same thing with a heavy flywheel. Once you get that sucker moving, and it takes a lot of force in the beginning, it's just like you probably heard the analogy of a rocket taking off going to space, right? That first 10 feet is the hardest part. Once it starts getting momentum, that's the same thing for you. So RPM is about how do you build momentum. You start with the result. You have to know what you want. The purpose, which is where everybody tends to fall apart. You don't really connect your why to it. Part 3 of your goals. You don't really connect your why to it. You don't really know why you want what you want. And if you remember what Nietzsche said, right? Anybody who has, or he who has a why can bear any how. Right? If you know why you're doing something, if I tell you, hey, walk in a straight line, right? I put you down in the middle of the floor downstairs, say, hey, walk in a straight line, and you hit an obstacle, a table gets in your way, you're going to stop. Whereas if I said, hey, walk across the showroom in a straight line to get to that corner, and a table gets in your way, you're just going to go around the table or over the table to do what you have to do because you know why you're doing something. That's what the purpose is really all about. That's why it's important, believe it or not. And then the massive action, of course, is where all the power is. You can do all the writing down you want, and you're not going to get anywhere until you implement it, right? Knowledge is power, bull. It's not. It gives you potential power, right? In order to get real power, all the power is in what?
Execute.
Action, execution, implementation, right? All right. And then time blocking was a technique or a skill that I shared with you guys about how you can plan your day. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today, not in depth, because there's a video on that. You can go back and watch that. We're going to talk about the 12-week year before we wrap up today. But let me harp on written goals again. Why should we write them down?
Keep focused.
To stay focused? Okay. Let me start with a better question. Should we write them down?
Yes.
Of course,
Why?
because that will
Becomes
keep
real.
you,
Wait, say it again.
Becomes real.
It becomes real.
it keeps you on the agenda to just get to where you want to be.
Keeps you on the agenda where you want to be. Staying focused.
Seeing is achieving, believing.
Seeing is believing. Seeing is achieving, right? And believing is achieving, right? Yeah, I agree with that. I like that. Any other reasons why?
Keeping us accountable.
Hold yourself accountable, right? So, why put it off?
Lack of discipline.
Lack of discipline. Okay, we talked about discipline. What is discipline? I like this. What was discipline? What did we say discipline was yesterday?
He had a good answer. Who had that good answer? Was it
I
you?
forgot.
No, you had a good answer. No, you had a good answer. You actually, yours is very much similar of what I heard, right?
Control behavior.
What you want.
What you
over-
want?
What you want most over what you want now.
What you want.
Yeah.
Control.
So I said yesterday that my favorite, and we went through this, those who weren't here yesterday, we went through this and we came up with our own definitions, and everybody was saying the same thing. The best way I heard it put was this succinct. It's a difference, a choice between what I want the most and what I want right now. Now, if we're honest with ourselves, what I want right now wins out over what I want most of the time, which is why we don't have everything that we claim that we want, right? Right? But remember that. Think about that. That discipline isn't making myself do something that I don't want to do. It's giving myself the power, empowering myself to make a decision between the thing I want the most and the thing I want right now. And writing my goals down, this is why I harp on it, writing my goals down is going to be an actual reminder to myself. Because when I'm looking in the mirror and I'm looking at the weak guy that says, come on back, be weak, it's okay. It ain't that serious. Chill out, YOLO. Come on. All right, so why put it off? It takes discipline. Why else? Why else should you put it off? Let's play devil's advocate.
I guess life happened. I mean,
Life happens. That's fair. Life happens. Something more urgent. Remember we went over important
Negativity.
versus urgent, right?
Negativity.
What does that mean? Negativity.
You're allowing something to bring you down, make you negative, and when you're negative, you're not thinking about
You're not
succeeding or.
motivated, yes.
Okay, so you're not in a good space. If you're not, if you have negativity in your space,
Yeah, you're not motivated.
you're not motivated. You don't have the motivation. What is motivation? Motivation is about what? What is motive? Motion, movement, right? You're not moving forward. You're staying put. You don't want to move forward? Fine. But you can't stay put. You're either moving forward
moving backwards.
or you're moving backwards, right? All right. So the reason we put it off, right? Everything you're saying is right. I just want to bring it to the forefront. The reason we put it off,
Conditions.
right? Are you a product of your conditions or are you a creator? That's the question.
Your statement.
That's the
Are you a product
question.
of Are you a product of your environment? What you seen
Yeah.
throughout your life?
Yeah.
Or you gonna be something that you think you can't be?
Which do you want to be?
Right.
It's your choice.
Exactly, it's a choice.
Einstein was once asked to speak to a bunch of physicists, right? This scientific convention. He said, I will agree to speak to you as long as you can agree on one thing, the question that I'll speak on. So that all of these scientists are standing around this auditorium trying to figure out, well, what the heck is the question? And they're all throwing out the most important question, right? They're trying to figure out what's the most important question. He's going to speak on the most important question, but you all have to agree what that is. They can't figure it out. So he shows up, and what do they say to him? We want you to choose the question. We decided that the best question, the most important question we could ask you is, what is the most important question? And he says, is the universe you live in friendly or hostile? And that's the same question. Does life happen to me or for me? Now, if it happens to me, if the conditions around me happen to me, then I'm a victim of my circumstance. Whereas if it happens for me, then I get to be the creator. I get to take control. I get to say, great, these are the resources at my disposal at this moment. How resourceful can I be?
Use it.
Use it. This is what you got, right? These are the cards you're dealt. Can you win a hand of poker with losing cards?
Sure.
Yeah, you can.
know
You
how to
can.
play.
Because you know how to play. Right, I know.
So,
You gotta be a bullshit. Right.
sometimes, but he who bluffs, let me rephrase that. He who always bluffs
Never wins.
Never,
always loses.
always loses.
He who never bluffs
Always loses.
never wins.
Never wins.
Right, yeah, same thing. He who never bluffs never wins. He who always bluffs always loses. Right? So, you can be a victim of your conditions, or you can be a creator. You can decide, I'm going to take power here, or you can say, oh, woe is me. Look at all this that happened to me. Right? But here's another thing. That's one way conditions relates here. It's also we'll call that lose versus win, right? Failure or losing versus winning. What do I mean by that? If you put in writing all the things that you're talking about being accountable to yourself, you are outlining not only the conditions of your success, you're not only saying this is what I actually want, but you're also saying not getting it is losing. Now here's the thing. It's not that you're lazy, it's not that things get in your way. It's that if you know what the conditions of failure are and you don't go after them, you will know that you failed yourself. So you keep yourself foggy. Because if you develop the discipline, which is the choice of what you want the most, if you decide that that's what you want, then you have to go after it or lie to yourself. So just keep yourself foggy. Don't lay out the conditions for failure so you don't know if you fail. Great. You're going to wake up in 10 years of failure and not having realized it along the way that you were creating.
That's a mental deep, yeah.
Yeah, that's some
Yeah,
mental
that's
stuff.
deep,
That's
like,
some
yo,
deep
I don't-
stuff, right? This is it. This is your life.
Yeah.
Your life is that deep. You can sit around and pretend it's not, but that's the problem.
And it's gonna come back to you, doesn't matter what, so.
Damn, 42
failing or
years.
winning,
Shit.
so.
42 years. Yeah, I'm with you. 41 years, man. Right? I'm sitting here not realizing, oh my. Now, I got lucky at 25 years old. People, right? This stuff started hitting me in the head, and I started realizing, okay, there's information out there. But that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. So I'm jealous of the young people downstairs, right? Man, now, again, I was lucky at 25 years old. I tried to teach my daughter this stuff for that same reason. Because it's like, man, if you just get your arms around this. Now, wherever you are right now, fine, great, perfect. It's your conditions. But here's the deal. In a year, we talked about this. In a year, you're going to be a year older. In 5 years, you're going to be 5 years older. In 10 years, you're going to be 10 years older. Are you going to be in the same position you are now? Are you going to be a rat in the race, a cog in the wheel? Or are you going to take control? That's what I'm asking you to do. Step up. That's what the standard, up your standards is all about. Not for me, not for the people who are management here, not for the owners of the business here, but for yourself. What are you going to do to raise your standards so that your life in a year is well beyond what you thought was even possible? Because of this stuff, this is true. All right, so let's move on. So you got that now. Everybody's with me. It seems like everybody followed along that little rabbit trail. So we talked about what is the definition of success. The one that I outlined is right here. The definition of success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So if you have an ideal, if you pick what you want the most, and you're moving towards it, even if you're just making small steps forward is better than staying still. Why? Because you can't stay still, right? So small incremental improvements. CANI is what Tony Robbins talks about. Constant and never-ending improvement. Keep making small gains. and you got a ladder, let's say you had 2 ladders. And I've shown this to a number of people before.
Which one harder to climb?
Yeah, right? Which one's harder to climb? Big progress or little steps at a time?
Well, Steve, well,
You're gonna fly up that one. Go
that's
ahead.
the one on the left. I'm okay with the one.
You like the one on the left. You just pull up and jump, right?
I'm kidding.
Yeah, but you're losing the race. You're losing the race to somebody half your size. Because you're just climbing up like little Mario, right? And Luigi. Anyway, so success is a progressive realization of a worthy ideal. You lay down what you want the most. You figure it out. You figure out what it is that you're actually after. You set your goals. You figure out why you want it, and you take massive action towards it. Now, massive action doesn't mean massive improvement at once. It means it's 10 times more what you think is what Grant Cardone says. 10x rule, right? 10 times more than what you think it would take to get you there, and you'll get there. When I was a personal trainer, people used to come to me, and especially women, they'd say, I don't want to get bulky, right? I was big, I was a 230-pound solid muscle, heavy lifter, right? And they'd say, I don't want to get bulky. And I would laugh, and I'd say, try. If you come to the gym and work out with me, and you try to look like me, you'll end up looking like what you want to look like. Because I promise you, this was harder to get than you think.
Steve, that's a good right.
right?
Yeah.
Try to get bulky, and I guarantee you that you're going to end up where you want to be, because you can't get to that easily, right? So 10x your efforts, right? Do 10 more.
No, I'm talking about I call it stuff. I'm not going. I'm actually hey.
Success is that movement forward, right? That's actually what the dopamine hit in the brain is too. When you achieve a goal, dopamine's gone. Because you get there and you go, what now?
And I heard Warren Buffett say that I was watching a little documentary. He said once he got to where he was at, people like I guess the dude named Charlie, who passed away, Charlie Munger.
Yeah.
Had to keep him going, like with
Never
stocks
be
and stuff.
satisfied.
Yeah, because it's the journey that matters, right? It's the journey. If you said, I got all the money I want, I'm going to go sit Mai Tais on the beach, that would be good for a week or two. And then you'd be bored with it. First off, your liver would be like, shut down. 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Wait, wait, 2 weeks.
Wrong crowd.
Some people maybe 6 weeks, right? 8 weeks. Yeah. Some people run off the ledge. Some people would be dead in the first 3 months, right? Let's say you kept it up for 90 days. Man, I went on a cruise to celebrate my divorce, and after 5 days of drinking Long Island iced teas every day, my whole body hurt. Okay, so I know for a fact that heavy drinking for a week will put me under. Anyway, let's go back. So we got this success definition: movement forward.
Right.
That's where the dopamine hits. Right. I'm moving towards the goal. That's what keeps a lion hunting. What's the definition of failure? Because we haven't talked about that.
I think it's just not being, I guess you're kind of downing yourself and not being where you want to be in life. And guess then other people around you are achieving their successes. So now really it puts you in your goals. You're not reaching your goals. So it puts you in a deeper, as far as depression state. Because man, damn, everyone's around me is achieving what they want to do. But you got to look at yourself in the mirror and realize, hey, what am I doing wrong? What can I change? So it's like you said, it takes action, massive action.
Accepting defeat.
Accepting where you are, and then just trying to get where and trying to make necessary changes to get where you at. I think is but they positive change. You can't like you said last time, Steve. Definition of insanity, doing the same thing,
Giving up on
trying to see
yourself.
results.
Yeah.
I use it that words, but I would say that failure is the mother of success.
Okay. So this is where I was going. So thank you for that. We didn't plan that. So there's a few different ways to view failure and success. Now, I like these definitions, right? And some people say that failure is not trying. Failure is not giving it an attempt. Giving a real attempt, right? But so let's look at this. So you've got, that's you. Success and failure.
Can't succeed.
Okay. So This is the traditional way. This is the amateur's way of seeing success and failure. It says that either you get to success or failure, and they're in opposite directions. The winners, the most successful people that you know,
Failed.
Very failed.
Thomas
Many
Edison,
times.
Zuckerberg, all of them.
Many.
You gotta learn from your
Facebook was shit,
mistakes.
right? Facebook was an idea in a bar, right?
They failed many times.
But did they give up?
No, they didn't. Yeah.
That's the difference. They had the discipline, the fortitude.
Facebook was just, hey man, how can we connect everybody on campus? And then went from campus, then how can we connect everybody in the county? Now, how can we connect everybody in the city? Now, how can we connect everybody
you
in
think
the
they
town?
wrote down what they were after?
Yeah.
You think they had a written plan, they executed massively on it? Do you think they knew why they wanted what they wanted?
Pretty much.
I think so. That's the difference. Right? I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. Right? But the difference between people who see success and failure as opposite ends versus people who realize that along the pathway you're going to hit failure, that's the difference between people who stop when they get there and those who realize the great book by Ryan Holiday, if you haven't read it before, it's an easy read. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. It's a book on Stoicism. When you realize that the obstacle is not something in the way, it is the way. If you don't expect obstacles, you're going to be surprised. Right? They're coming.
Trust fund,
For a rough
baby.
life.
You're a trust fund, baby.
Winter is coming.
Yeah.
And guess what? So is spring. All right. So, failure. Definition of failure is not going for it. It's giving up. I like that. Accepting defeat. Not achieving. Comparison is the thief of joy, right? So you're looking around you, and I think this is what you're getting. You're looking around and you're going, I'm not being the best that I can be. That's why we're here, right? My whole thing to you guys, to everybody, is let's man up. Let's step up or woman up, right? Let's step up and let's be what we are. The best version of it. All right. So failure has to be defined too. We talked about it in the goal setting part and the writing things down. I told you there's an exercise where you write down what you actually want. And then you also write down, if you stay where you are, if you continue on the path you're on, and you continue being weak, what's the hell that you can create? What does failure look like? Have that pushing you forward as you're being pulled towards your success. Set up your heaven and your hell. Know what direction you're going, right? Now, I want to ask you about this. Growth and contribution was on the list for the 7 categories in the Wheel of Life, right? Who do you associate to? That's what yesterday we started with, association. Who do you associate to? Who is it in your life that matters to you? Because your associates, your peer group, your life is the result of the expectations of your peer group. That's why I try to hang out with successful winners. Right? Because if you want to be a millionaire, hang out with millionaires, right? If there's 4 millionaires, you go hang out with them, you'll become number 5.
That's
If there's,
yeah.
there's 4 winners, you want to be a winner, go hang out with them, you'll become number 5. There's 4 losers, go hang out with them, you'll become number 5. There's 4 weak people, strong people, whatever it is. Who you associate to is who you'll become. So you got to ask yourself, who do I associate to? Who are my heroes? Who are the people who are my peer group? Who are the people I look at and I go, man, I like that about him. I like that about her. That gives me positive energy. Figure out who that is. And then make sure that you're communicating with yourself correctly. Make sure that you're empowering yourself when you communicate with yourself. Because yesterday we talked about beliefs tables, right? So a belief table, if you think of a belief as a tabletop without any legs, if you have a belief that you need to install, we talked about Richie, and thank you for being my guinea pig yesterday. Richie and I sat up here and we talked about the fact that he has a belief that he is holding him back from reaching his goals. So he needs to install a positive belief. If you need to install a belief, what you do is you take the belief, you literally turn a piece of paper sideways and you write your belief across it. And then you turn it back sideways and you write legs underneath of it. And those legs are references, which means anything that installs that belief. And if you have a disempowering belief, and you may not know, see, beliefs can be conscious or unconscious. You may have a belief that is operating in the back of your mind you don't even know anything about. Some teacher, somewhere along the way, some adult, some parent, somebody may have said to you that you're a loser, and you believed it. Because when you were young running around, you didn't know the difference. They told you the tooth fairy was real, and you thought that sucker brought you freaking money every time you lost a tooth. You thought an Easter bunny left your candy in a basket. You thought Santa Claus came once a year.
Down the chimney you didn't have.
Down the chimney you didn't have.
You got no chimney.
You believed it. Now, at some point, you realized that that belief was wrong. That it was a fun game that parents play with their kids, right? That it's a fun game that people play with each other about the spirit of giving, of generosity. So you got that we were playing a game, but somewhere along the way, you picked up a belief. And it may have been because you compared yourself to others. Maybe something happened. You experienced failure, and you saw it as the opposite of success, and you said to yourself, I'm never doing that again. I don't like feeling stupid. And when I do that, and I take that risk, I feel stupid. I don't want to feel stupid. So you've got this weird thing in your mind going, you don't want to feel stupid. No. Don't try that. Just blend in. Go with the pack. Because the zebra in the pack doesn't get picked off by the lion. It's the one that stands out that does. So just blend in. Just have a normal life. You don't have to go for it.
Yeah, that's some deep. Yeah.
That's some real shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to share real shit. All right. So if you have a belief you need to install, you need to put reinforcement underneath of it. If you have a table with 2 legs, it's strong, right? But if it had 4, it would be stronger. What if it had 24? Would it be stronger?
Real strong.
Man, put as many underneath as you need. Now let's say you find a belief that is disempowering. Something in your life, something that you realize, yeah, this is taking away my power. Write down what some of those references are and demolish them. Demolish the references on the disempowering belief and put in tons of references to the opposite. Literally do this. I know this sounds stupid, right? This sounds dumb, but putting it in writing, it's going to instill it in, like all of a sudden you're going to get goosebumps, right? At some point during it, you're going to be like, oh man, that was weird. I'm not telling anybody about that, right? Try it. Promise. I've done stupid shit like this. That's why I'm standing up here sharing with you. That's why I'm going deep on this stuff. I've done it. It feels stupid. It feels dumb. If somebody sees it, they're like, Dacko, what are you doing, man? That's crazy. It is crazy.
You know what I do besides that? I also record myself.
Good.
And I post it on my social media.
Yeah.
And then I see it every year.
Good.
I said that I would do that. I achieve even more.
I love it.
And or when I didn't do it, and I pretty much just go back to the same goal, and I say I'm gonna be better.
I love it.
Every
I love
year, every year.
Good. That's a great way to do it too. That's another way to do it, right? This is another resource in your belt, in your toolbox. All right, so we went over the beliefs tables. Now I want to give you something of real value. So because I know now the people who haven't written down their goals, now you're excited, right? Now you're going to go back and you're going to actually do your goals. Anybody know how to write an actual goal? I'm going to give you something called the S.M.A.R.T system. Anybody heard of it before?
I can't remember what it stands for.
But you've heard of it.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah,
In college.
I can't remember.
S.M.A.R.T system of setting goals, right? Now you take your goals, those of you who are overachievers, who are playing at a level called outstanding. If you watched yesterday's video, you'll know what that means. If you're playing at the level of outstanding, then you've already written them down. Or if you're ready to play at the level of outstanding, you're going to go write them down. And you're going to set some goals. And when you set them, don't think about this. This is what you go back and edit. Because do it badly the first time. Because anybody can do anything badly, right? I know I sure can. Can you do it badly? Can you write out a bad eulogy? Right? That exercise about setting your lifelong goals. Can you write out a bad list? Can you do it badly? Okay, do it badly. Because then you can go back and fix it. Right? I do things bad. I started this, and I'm probably doing it badly. I bet you in 5 years, because this is something I want to continue to do. I'd like to be doing this 10, 20 years down the road, helping people achieve their dreams. That's all I'm trying to do. How do I get the best out of you? Not for me, for you. I hope to keep doing this, and I hope I look back and I go, look how bad I used to be at this.
Do that, so, yeah, it's good. It works.
Yeah,
You get
because you're
better.
reiterating, right? So I'm asking you to do it badly, and then go back. And once you do, you're going to realize that the S stands for specific.
Specific.
So your goals should be specific. What does that mean? What does specific mean?
It should be detailed. It should be something that it can be material. It can be focus driven. I mean, it's a lot of things.
Okay, let me ask you this. Give me an example of a vague goal. Because vague would be the opposite of specific,
Be
right?
debt free would be a
I want to be
big.
rich. Just rich.
I want to be rich.
Debt free.
Debt free. Okay.
Lose weight.
I want to lose weight. That's a great example. That's vague. What else? I want to make more money. Here's $1. You did it. You're going to get what you asked for. That's why your goals have to be specific. You want to lose weight, you're going to lose a pound. Did it. You didn't mean that. So write your goals in a specific fashion, right? So write your goal, right? And your goal might be, I want to lose weight. And then when you go back, you did it badly, right? But you did it. It's a good first step. It's better than you were doing it. Remember? The first time I tried to hit 52 books in a year and I hit 12. That was 12 better than I did the year before. Good, right? Specific though, because you gotta know what you actually want. You gotta know what you actually are after. So write them specific. What is the M?
Measurable.
Measurable, yeah. Somebody's paying
I
attention.
remember this. I remember this.
Yeah, that's
Good.
gonna come back. Yeah.
Measurable.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not teaching anything you don't already know. I'm just reminding you what you already know. Right? Socrates said that learning is remembering. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to remember what you already know. It's in there. So measurable. What does that mean?
I want to get X amount of dollars in X amount of time.
I want to get X amount of dollars, right? You got to be able to measure it
Mhm.
in order for it to be a real goal.
I wanna lose 25
Right
pounds.
story.
You got to be able to measure it. I want to set 2 appointments a day. You got to be able to measure it. Right? It's got to be measurable. Now, what's this one?
Attainable.
Attainable. Look at this. What does that mean?
It has to be in reach.
Realistic, so.
Realistic. I can't lose 50 pounds this month.
I like that example. I can't lose 50 pounds this month. Now, maybe if I weighed 500 pounds, I could. But realistically, is it attainable for me to lose? Maybe I have 50 pounds that I could lose over time.
The only objection to that example would be the month Nas had that he didn't think, no one thought that was attainable.
Nobody thought that was
The month
attainable.
Nobody thought that was attainable.
So that's a great point. And this is my favorite thing about this section. I hate realistic
Yeah, 'cause-
goals.
Yep.
But this doesn't mean small.
Wait, dang. Boy, boy, we go for that, boy. Man, I ain't know what we got like that. Nobody's
Not in today's.
Attainable goals. What you're talking about. Limitations are self-imposed. I put that near attainable because attainable means realistic, but not in the colloquial sense. Not in the sense that we're used to. Not in the sense of success versus failure. It's attainable in the sense that I'm not going to go establish a collie on the lane next month or lose 50 pounds in a month. Attainable means it has to be something you can achieve. It has to be something that's within reach. As it could be far out there. It could be what we call, and I think Tony Rodriguez has talked about this before. What is a BHAG? Big, hairy, audacious goals. Yeah. So it can be a BHAG, right? It should be if you're going to stretch yourself. But it should be attainable. It should be something you can reach. Now, you should have attainable goals along the way to a BHAG, right? So not all goals are going to be small. Some of them are going to be small enough that you can achieve them, right? Because it's got to be rungs on the ladder. So a big goal has a small goal within it. A series of them if you're playing the game right.
Well, that's the measure part of it, so.
Right. So it all you see how it all ties together, right? All right, so what's the R? And I like that you gave that objection. Because I have the same objection to it.
I'm just saying, like.
I do. Yeah. So I'm with you, 100%. But there's a way in which it does pertain to the subject, and there's a way in which it doesn't. So you got to play with that line. Keep kicking. The further you can move that line, the better, right? Because that means you're doing what? You're setting goals and hitting them. There we go. Right. All right, so what's the R? Relevant, yeah. Look, Cleavon, you woke up. Oh, shoot. I don't remember how to spell relevant.
You know what that word means? Importance, level of importance. Okay.
I have to do it wrong to see it. Relevant, what does that mean?
Level of importance. Level of importance.
Matter.
Level of
Well,
importance.
it doesn't matter.
Matter.
What's the level of, what does it matter to you when you?
It has to matter to you.
Yeah.
What else? These are right. Just because I keep looking for more, what I'm looking for is how do we actually understand what the heck we're talking about? Because I can say it and it doesn't mean anything until we actually get to something that makes sense.
So when you have goals, is you add up things that are not really relevant to measure or be specific?
Has
You
to
won't
pertain to your goal.
Yeah, you won't get
How
to
does it
where
help
you
you
wanna
get
be.
there?
So you got a big picture. Yeah, you're exactly right. That's exactly what it means. You got a big picture, right? You got a life that you're living. And in your life, what was the next term goal? Or was it long term? Right? Something like 10 years out. And then we said there's also something like 5 years out, and there's a year from now, and there's 90 days, right? So along the way, what you're hitting short term, the goals that you're hitting, these have to be kind of leading towards a bigger purpose. They've got to be contributing to something, right? That's what this is really all about, the growth and contribution. Are you growing towards an objective? Are you contributing towards an objective? Not only in the bigger picture of who you associate to, but within your own little microcosm. Yeah? We all know what relevant means now? And what's the last one? Probably. Yeah. What was the law? Who remembers? Let me ask it that way. Who remembers the law that is related to working time? Everybody watch the video?
So say it again.
I went over in one of our classes.
Uh-huh.
I went over the law that says that work will expand to fill the time allotted. It's called Parkinson's law.
Parkinson's law.
If you have to set 2 appointments and you give yourself all day, it's going to take you all day. If you say, my goal for the day is to set 2 appointments, and you work like hell for the first 90 minutes, and you contact everybody you know, 90 minutes in, you're going to have achieved your goal for the day. You're going to be like, okay, maybe I should aim bigger. You follow? Let's say you don't. Let's say your goal is to sell, or let's say it's just to set 2 appointments, and you work like hell, and you only set 1 in the first 90 minutes. Do you think it's going to be easier or harder to set the second appointment in the next 90 minutes?
Easy.
You think it's going to be easier or harder to get to your goal of setting 2 appointments for the day? Easier.
Yeah, as far as you progress, it's gonna get easier and easier, and then your goal has to be go to the next level.
As much time as you give yourself is as long as it's going to take. That's why time bound matters. You got to give yourself an actual deadline. How many people had papers in high school or college? If you went to college, how many people had papers that the professor gave you a term paper and said, turn this in by this date at the end of the term? And you had classmates that had it done halfway through the semester. I had classmates like that. I thought they were crazy. Because I would be up drinking Red Bull and smoking cigarettes until 2 minutes past the deadline when I'd send it by email. I'm not proud of that, but it's the truth. Begging for an extension. Doing it in 6 hours.
Yep.
What? Idiot.
But is there,
We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. Time bound. Time bound means put a time limit on it. Give yourself a realistic goal, right? Give yourself an attainable goal that's relevant to your overall goals, and give yourself a time. Say, this is where I want to be. Like Thomas said, you can't lose 50 pounds in a month. But you can say, this year I would like to lose 50 pounds. Because if you know anything about weight loss, about 4 pounds, really 2, but about 4 pounds a month is the most you should be losing at a time. If you have the weight to lose. 2 pounds is actually healthy weight loss. That's sustainable.
Weight's not the word you use in terms of
Right.
Fat loss.
Fat loss. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what I like.
No, listen.
Yeah, personal trainer.
Yeah, listen,
Fat
I'm-
loss. I go there to lose fat.
Yes.
Fat makes you look younger.
Absolutely.
Fat
Makes you,
Fat loss makes you look younger.
yes.
Excuse me.
But time bound. What I'm saying is you need to make sure that you have it set realistically too. Right? But don't give yourself as much time as you think you need. I said in the beginning, when we're setting goals, I said, ask yourself, if it were possible for me to hit my medium or long-term goals in the next 90 days, what would that look like, right? How much can you stretch yourself? Just like these, right? Limits are self-imposed, but you need a time limit on it. If you think that, okay, I want to hit, let's say your goal is to hit 100 grand in a year, but you think that you can actually hit 150, why give yourself the full year? All right, so that's what I want. I wanted to give you the SMART system, so now you have it. There's a book called The 12-Week Year. If you're so inclined as to pick it up, the idea is about breaking your year into 12-week periods. How many weeks is that in a year? There are 52, but 12 times 4 is 48. So that leaves you 4 extra weeks. So what I like to do is I like to take a planning week and 12-week year. Planning week. Now, during my planning week, I'm not doing nothing because I have a larger objective that I'm always constantly working towards. But I break myself down and I say, okay, over the next 12 weeks that's 90 days. What goals am I going to hit? Where am I going to be? Because in 12 weeks, if you look at an annual goal and you start, it is October, it is the middle of October, and we look at your annual goals right now, and you've got 2 months left, and the holidays are coming, and you're off target, what are the chances that you're going to hit it? Pretty slim. But if you look up a third of the way in your 12-week year, and you realize I'm off target, you can readjust. Just like recommitting 365 times versus 12 versus 52, the advantage is in time. So if you want to check out that book, we'll talk more about that at some point in the future. But you've got the SMART system. Now that you're going to play at the level of outstanding and write your goals down, you've got a way to go back and reiterate them, right? All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the participation. Did you Google that? Time bound?
Oh no, I actually got it wrong. I said time based.